All right, when you talk about charisma, you have to talk about this team. Michael Hayes and gorgeous Jimmy Garvin, precious.
How you doing, David? I gotta tell you something. Well, all three of us are real excited. I mean, we're right in the middle of a bunch of bunkhouse stampedes from coast to coast. And not only that, let me tell you something. It's not my fault that the Four Horsemen are having problems. I know I haven't said that in a long time, but I've had a lot of things on my mind. But I'm starting to come down to earth now with Michael P.S. Hayes and my squeeze beside me, and we're getting excited about something else too. We're getting excited about the World Tag Team titles, because let me tell you something, I'm not gonna take nothing away from the guy that's always in a bad mood, Tully Blanchard.
Are you in a bad mood too if you had a face like that to walk around with?
I guess so. With a face like that, I'd be a little bit mad myself. And Arn Anderson, because they are great athletes. They are the World Tag Team Champions, even though they cheat. It's like going to Africa for the big game. There ain't no use going to Africa and hunting some rabbit with big long ears. We might as well go for the big stuff. And the big stuff is Arn Anderson and the guy that's always in a bad mood, Tully Blanchard. We're coming after you, and we're going to take your titles. Go with it, Michael.
Well, you know what a wicked web we weave when first we try to deceive. And they telling people there is no dissension. But you see, there is dissension in the Four Horsemen. And it is at that time, the prime time, when they are most vulnerable, because we got matches lined up. And it is right for the picking. It is time for the fall. And I guarantee you and promise you, very soon, Michael P.S. Hayes, gorgeous Jimmy Garvin, World Tag Team Champions. Because, baby, we got what it takes to take what you got like 4 peas in a pot, and the peas will be jumping if the water wasn't hot.
We had, say what? A whole lot of superstars on this stage here tonight. But I want y'all to know one thing. This is my house. And when I say who's
word attack skills and vocabulary too. Cover hits in the disc edition is all brand new. You're through. I'm interplanetary like Doctor Who. So who?
Fuck your beef, no relief. I step on stage, girls scream like I'm Keith.
You know, when you have special weeks like this, you get special weeks from us. Ringtime Pro Wrestling is at it again with the first ever Wrestling Week extravaganza. What does that mean? 2 shows, 1 week, us doing what we do best, talking about that wrestling. Keith and Keisha in the building. Keisha, say hi to the people.
Hello, everyone. I'm so excited. Oh! This weekend is going to be full of wrestling, and I can't wait to talk about all of it. Yes.
All right. So we realized we couldn't do just one show. We realized that so much stuff is going on throughout the course of the week and the weekend to talk about that we had to break it up. So what we decided was that, hey, there are 2 major events that we want to talk about. NXT Dallas and WrestleMania. So Thursday or Wednesday night, depending on how you look at it, you guys will be fed NXT Dallas preview. That is what you're listening to right now. Tomorrow, you'll get a bonus treat because you'll get the WrestleMania preview. So, it'll give you enough time to watch NXT Dallas, compare the notes, do whatever. Then, on the flip side, listen to the WrestleMania preview, watch WrestleMania, compare the notes, do whatever. Also, with the big thing here is, in doing so, you guys won't be forced to listen to a big 2-hour show, try to skip, fast forward, save it for later. Nah, we're just gonna chop it up for you nice and easy, right? Our gift to you. So without further ado, let's do the first show of the week. Keish, NXT Dallas is going to be huge for the company. I think it's huge for NXT. These takeover shows only get bigger and bigger.
Right.
But prior, I mean, we're going to go a day ahead the night after NXT Dallas, right?
Right.
The Hall of Fame. We just want to do a quick overview of the Hall of Fame. Because now it's all finalized. We got everybody who's going into the Hall of Fame. And we got who's inducting who in the Hall of Fame. So we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about why, who's inducting who. Does it make sense? Does it not make sense? And then go from there, right?
Right.
So let's start and work our way backwards. Because at least, let's start with our celebrity entrance. This year we have selected Snoop Dogg to be our celebrity entrance into the WWE Hall of Fame. Well, we haven't selected, WWE has selected Snoop Dogg. I'll say this. Good selection. Timely selection. Snoop will be inducted by his cousin, Sasha Banks, who is also up for the women's title. If you want to know what Snoop has done in WWE, he has been a special guest host of Raw. He was the Masters of Ceremonies for the Playboy Bunny Lumberjack match at WrestleMania 24, which a 14-year-old Sasha Banks was in attendance and sat by the ring next to a Bishop Magic Don Juan. Not sure if that's how you want to get your 14-year-old cousin hanging out, but that all happened.
Right.
Keith, thoughts on the Celebrity Hall of Fame?
I was actually a little bit surprised, almost, not too much, just enough, that the celebrity inductee, I didn't know that they were going to do Snoop this year, but it's Snoop. I think he's made enough appearances, and I think he's done enough to be invited in, but at this point, I really think that's where it's getting to. I think it is starting to kind of reach, so it is what it is.
Yeah. Kind of funny. I think it's timing also because it's a Sasha Banks breakout year. This is going to be Sasha Banks' WrestleMania moment. And I think this will even help give her rub and shine. Like I said, always remember these Hall of Fame things are single in purpose. Like everybody's Hall of Fame induction has a purpose. It's not so much about them being deserving, even though a lot of them are deserving. It is about what purpose does it serve, right? So, Snoop Dogg will help give his cousin a rub. Snoop Dogg will be at WrestleMania, so that will probably be an extra spike in viewership just to have Snoop Dogg involved. And I wouldn't be surprised if he gets involved in the match. Because if you got Nate outside involving himself in this match, maybe Snoop looks out for his cousin and makes sure that Charlotte's pesky father doesn't get involved. I don't really know. But with that being said, that is the celebrity induction.
Yay!
Now let's talk about the Warrior Award. It is given to journalist Joan London. Award-winning journalist, best-selling author, breast cancer survivor. Joan London has taken this time in battling this horrible disease to help support women who also are facing this juggernaut of a disease. Right?
Right.
WWE has a partnership with Susan G. Komen. They would love to make sure that this is, front page news. They do a lot of stuff for Susan G. Komen. And here's the funny thing about this award. Just like last year, they gave it to Conor, right?
Right.
No shade on them giving it to Conor. But how many people did listen to the Warrior speech? How many people listened to the Warrior speech 2 years ago?
Not too many.
Because this award and what they're doing with it has nothing to do with what he intended the award to be.
No, not at all.
Right? He felt like there should be a spot in the Hall of Fame for people in the background. It was more a bit for like all the cameramen that you don't see, all the ring crew, and a bunch of people who do a bunch of work for the company that never get seen, that never get appreciated. But the WWE has hijacked it and turned it into a public service op, right? Not public service op, but more of how do I say this? A publicity move for them.
Well,
Now,
I
know it's not popular opinion. Everybody's gonna be like, "Oh my God, they keep just shit on the Warrior Award." Woo! Oh boy, no, it is not necessarily that. I'm just saying that it's not. I didn't get from his speech that it's the same thing as what they're doing with it.
No, I don't see it just being the same either. And it's crazy to me that this is the continuing thing they're doing with the award. And it's like, okay, I get it. And I'm not saying that it's not. I want to feel like the intentions for the award are good, you know? And I do to an extent, because it's like every single, well, right now we have Connor and now we have John, right? But these are also associations, like Suji D. Coleman does something with the WWE every year. So, you know, it's not surprising to me that they would give it to someone that is associated with Suji G. Coleman. Is it going to be the same next year? Is it going to be the same year after that? You know, I now fully understand the intentions of what the Warrior Award was supposed to be and what it is. And the two aren't the same. And I think that what everyone should understand about what you're saying is just that. It's not, it's not that you are not seeing it as something good. It's just that it's not being seen as what it's supposed to be. And that's pretty much it. But I mean, what's the difference between that and the things that WWE has changed on their own in the past? You know, things that were intended to happen haven't happened because they decided at the last minute or sometime in between, like, we're not going to go this route, we're going to do this. You know, that's WWE for you. Personally, I'm not surprised. I ain't surprised at it, but I think that at some point you have to give, you know, everybody their props and credit because it's not just the superstars that run the show. It ain't.
No, I was. My thing is that I think they hijacked an award, and it's a good thing that they're doing, but they hijacked it and used it for something else. It's like they repurposed it for their own thing, right? But that was my thing. But moving on, heavy hitter in the Hall of Fame class is Stan Hansen. He's going to be inducted by Vader. Makes perfect sense. Brody isn't alive, so that would be my choice. And Vader is a guy that they had a rivalry. They wrestled in Japan. Even though they had a famous match where, hey man, they just started throwing haymakers at each other. And they got real to the point. Maybe Hansen might have poked Vader's eye out, but those two, you know, guys were intense, and it'd be nice to get inducted by Vader. Jacqueline will be inducted by the Dudley Boys. Jacqueline is now it's kind of prerequisite what they do with the Hall of Fame. I'm not saying she's not a Hall of Famer, but hey, after listening to Jim Cornette, I'm like, oh yeah, every year they do have this. Jacqueline will be inducted by the Dudley Boys. I think that kind of makes sense, even though I would have probably had her inducted by the APA. Right. Because that's who she used to roll with. So that's kind of awkward, but just the APA is going to be busy later on that night. We'll get into that later. Big Boss Man is being inducted by the Doctor of Style, Slick. Now, this one is interesting. Yes, Slick was the Boss Man's manager, right? Right. If you've been listening to some podcasts and listening to some interviews that Slick may have done out here in these streets, he didn't really rock with the Boss Man like that. Kind of said Boss Man was true to his character, of being a corrections officer from Cobb County, Georgia. You know, the one that had the Confederate flag on the side of his uniform kind of character. Who also used to lock up people and perform brutality after the match. So I want you to take that into consideration because that's out there floating in these streets.
Right.
And also, I would like to say, I live in Cobb County. I've heard everything about Cobb, stands for COBB, count on being busted. Constantly, not constantly, but something on beating blacks. Look, or count on being beaten.
Right.
But just understand, like one of my coworkers, he hates coming to Cobb County. He works out here with me. And you say, look, man, you come here after dark with the full county plates, you're getting pulled over. So I just understand that's all happening. Now, they probably don't want to take any more flack for that kind of thing because that is a hot button issue. So having a black man named Slick, the Doctor of Style, induct him may be helpful. But also remember that Slick danced to a song called Jive Soul Bro.
Yeah, right, exactly. So I don't know how to really feel about this entire situation. I don't.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Speaking of Confederate issues, Fabulous Freebirds and Michael Hayes will be inducted into the Hall of Fame. Now,
right.
The Freebirds are extremely deserving. I write an article every year. Why the Freebirds ain't in the Hall of Fame? Now I got to find somebody else. Which, hey, there is a wonderful website. Superstars that are not in the WWE Hall of Fame. The dude got 180 guys. You can never run out of people to talk about, right?
Right.
So I will switch my anger to somebody else from now on because the Freebirds are in. I'll probably start with Luthez because I don't think you have a credible wrestling Hall of Fame if you don't have Luthez in the Hall of Fame. And I think if you're going to pretend you're a wrestling Hall of Fame, you need to have Luthez in the Hall of Fame. That being said, Freebirds getting in. They are being inducted by the New Day and not Kevin Von Erich.
Right.
Not cool on a few levels, right? I thought that if you put them in Dallas and you save them for Dallas, I think you should have a Von Erich inducted, the last living Von Erich induct them, right?
Right.
The Freebird Von Erich rivalry is still one of the rivalries that lasts the test of time in professional wrestling. I think it'd be a huge honor for Kevin, whose family's already been inducted and, pimped by WWE in Texas once. But no, we're going to use the New Day. Why? Because the New Day does use the Freebird rule. They also are a black tag team, and maybe we can soften the blow of a team that also went to the ring carrying Confederate flags, being inducted. And maybe the leader, who currently works for the company, may or may not have had some things that he has said about black people in the past come to light this week.
I'm just saying,
so,
can we please just somehow, in some way, kind of like take our minds away from that, take the spotlight away from that? I mean, it doesn't make sense not to have one of the two to induct them into the Hall of Fame. Like, why would you not? What was the point in changing it in the first place? I don't get it. I don't get it.
I think they just wanted to soften the blow and make it a little different, right? Also, there has been some static about Jimmy Jam Garvin being inducted into the Hall of Fame. This is what I'll say. Don't really have a problem with it. Jimmy Jam Garvin was a Freebird, but he was in the WCW incarnation of the Freebirds. It was the last incarnation of Freebirds that was floating around. I have less of a problem than others because of my age bracket, probably. I saw the Garvin Freebirds. They wasn't amazing. Like, they wasn't revolutionary, but they were all right. You know what I mean? It wasn't necessarily Garvin's fault. I mean, things changed. Gordy was going to Japan. I don't know what Buddy was up to. Michael was still Michael. He was still trying to do his thing. They won some titles. Rhodey, my main man, Rocky King, friend of the show, guy I talk to every now and then about stuff, was involved with that group. It introduced DDP to the world. I don't have the shade as some people do towards that group, but I do get it. I think the crux of the Freebirds, or the essence of the Freebirds, is Hayes, Gordy, and Buddy. Got it. But no shade to Garvin. I think Garvin has an interesting career on his own, and I don't necessarily know if it's Hall of Fame. I think the Freebird, he probably rides the Freebird just that extra push. Because the singles career, hanging with Ronnie, I don't know what that all does for him, right?
Right.
The Godfather.
Yes.
Captain of the whole trade.
Yes.
Being inducted by the APA. Former tag team champion, one time Intercontinental champion. Keith, how are they gonna reconcile this one?
I don't know. I mean, change who's inducting him?
No.
I
don't have a problem with the induction. Because the induction comes from an Attitude Era team. That was probably one of the most popular times for him. But that being said, they don't want to give you too much backstage. Like, there was two groups back in the day. There was the Clique, and there was the Bowles Street Crew, the BSC or whatever, with Taker and them, and Godfather was part of that. They're not going to do any of those guys, even though some of them dead anyway. Rikishi could induct him. Rikishi was a part of that, right?
Right.
I think they're just going to leave it the way it is. Will there be a whole trade at the Hall of Fame? I don't know.
I doubt it. I doubt it. Have you seen, The Godfather lately? I don't think there's going to be a whole train. I don't think they're going to... Well, I'm sorry. Let's take it back. What were they calling them? Escorts. Because you remember, they changed their name to Escorts when they started getting closer to the Ruthless Aggression era and PG era. They started changing the name to Escorts. So there won't be any escorts, I don't think. There definitely won't be any hoes. We're definitely not going to have that going on. I seriously doubt that one. So it's funny because are we going to mention the Godfather's other personas in this?
No. Here's the thing. The WWE does this. It's kind of very interesting. They marry themselves to certain things, right?
Right.
He's not going as Charles Wright. He's going as the Godfather. So they want him to Godfather it. He's going to Godfather it up. Papa Shango ain't going into the Hall of Fame, per se. Now, you want an example? Razor Ramon got into the Hall of Fame a couple of years ago. Strictly Razor Ramon, not Scott
Hall at all. Okay.
So not the Diamond Stud, not Scott Gator Hall, not Scott Hall from AWA with the dark hair, curly hair, looked a little jacked up, a little maybe on steroids, possibly. Don't know. No, we talking jet black haired, Cuban immigrant, Scarface, Scott Hall.
But
right?
then I get confused because then you end up Kevin Nash as Kevin Nash. You don't induct him as Big Daddy Cool.
Okay, little backstage. That was something Nash fought for. They want to induct him as Diesel, right? Vince likes his properties. Remember this too about the Hall of Fame. Vince is most of these inductions have something to do with something Vince is trying to do later. Best believe a Freebirds DVD is coming soon. best believe that maybe an Attitude Era thing is coming out sooner than later. I wouldn't be surprised if there's something on Texas Wrestling that involves Hanson and Brody that's coming out at some time sooner than later, right?
Right.
With the Divas Revolution, I would be surprised there's something coming out with the other great Diva era of wrestling, right? Probably the greatest Diva era that we know of, before they were Divas. The greatest women's wrestler era, which Jacqueline was a part of. Because you take Jacqueline, she's a part of the Lita, Molly Holly, Trish Stratus, Jazz, Victoria. You know what I mean? She's a part of that era, right?
Right.
So that loaded roster, Tori, Sable gets in the mix sometimes. Like that whole big flux of women that wrestled every night, that had multiple matches on the card. Yeah. So like, right, there's gonna be something to that. All of this stuff has some kind of singleness and purpose, right? All of it is to move some level of merch. All of it is to just sell some kind of WWE special that's gonna come on the network. Everybody's in there for a reason. Some people are in because of the local ties, and they want to draw on the local spirit and engage the local people, so the crowd could be prepped and primed for what's going on,
which is completely understandable. Completely,
and all that matters. Also, look, WWE got to deal with Mattel. There's some toys that got to be sold. So the money is in a Godfather doll, probably, and not a Papa Shango. Like the money is in a Razor Ramon. Like I said, they wanted Diesel, but Kevin Nash fought for Kevin Nash. And you would argue that the most dynamic part of his career was as Kevin Nash, WCW, not Diesel, WWE. Diesel, WWE gave him a platform, made him famous, right? Because all those Vinny Vegas and Oz and all that was not doing anything for him. But the most dynamic part of his career is Kevin Nash. Now, with Razor Ramon, I can make the opposite argument. Even though Scott Hall is the catalyst, Scott Hall is the man that he's the straw that stirs the drink, right? He's the thing that makes all this NWO thing go.
Right.
But then he quickly fades back to like the third piece. And then it becomes Hogan, then Nash, and then like after a while, everybody and their grandmother. His most significant part of his career is probably Razor Ramon. So I can see him doing such a thing. I mean, X-Pac is going in as X-Pac if he ever got into the Hall of Fame. Right?
Right.
He's not going 1, 2, 3 Kid. He's not going in as 6-Pac. He's going as X-Pac. Because that's probably where the fans, especially today's fans, have the most relevancy for him. And that's the thing with the Godfather. Like, the most recent fans have the most relevancy for him as the Godfather. I think a lot of people never even knew him as Papa Shango. So, just to bring that all the way back around. Last but not least is the headliner for this class, and that's Sting.
Of course.
I don't think there's a Wrestling Hall of Fame that you could not put Sting in. Problem with WWE is that Sting had 2 matches at WWE and he lost both of them.
Now,
who'd have thought of that?
Exactly. This is the question that was asked to me when it was announced that Sting would be in the Hall of Fame. And the question that was asked to me, and I'm asking you, I'm pretty sure it has already been asked, so you can already answer this question for me in a quickness is, is Sting still part of the active roster? Like, will he still be wrestling even though he's inducted into the Hall of Fame? And the reason why the question was asked to me was because no one that has been inducted so far was on the active roster, as far as I know. Everybody that I know that has been inducted had retired at some point before they were inducted. So,
to be fair, Flair was on the active roster. Flair.
Well, that's why I said as far as I know.
Yeah, Flair had not retired. Flair was to retire if he lost, and that was the stipulation. So,
Right.
And they were so that Flair may not lose. So there's that. But Sting is not active. Sting has retired.
Okay.
Sting is not active. Sting will not be back. This is part of the reasons why he is going in this year. Generally speaking, would he? I mean, right now his injuries and everything has happened to him. He probably would never come back. But I mean, like, people will come back for spot shows. Steamboat did a run for like a couple of months. After like WrestleMania 24, when they did the Legends thing,
Right.
or 25, where he wrestled Jericho, and with a tag match he came back and did a month would led up to a singles match with Jericho at the next pay-per-view. Like, Steamboat ran for about a month. But, it's not that you can't come back. It's just that you'll never be like a full-time member of the active roster. No, that's probably not what they're going to do with a Hall of Famer. Even though, I mean, that's how you can sell tickets like that. You're like, hey, this man is a Hall of Famer. Like, he's legitimately a Hall of Famer. And he is going to show you why he's a Hall of Famer. Da-da-da-da.
Right.
But no, Sting is done. And Sting, even without those matches, Sting is a Hall of Famer. Sting should be anybody's Hall of Fame. Since the WWE, I don't get mad at them for putting people in the Hall of Fame that didn't have a long WWE careers or didn't even have WWE careers, because you're selling it as a contributor to the business. And since WWE owns all the tape libraries and they own all the video footage, they owe it to the business to honor those people who may not have wrestled with their company, but are the building blocks to what the wrestling business has become. And
Right.
I think Sting is one of those people. His induction is being done by Ric Flair. I think that's absolutely perfect. I don't think there's a singular wrestler who has a bigger impact in Sting's career than Ric Flair. I don't know if he's wrestled anybody in big matches more than Ric Flair. I don't know if he's the star that he becomes without Ric Flair.
Right.
Like, he had the look, he had the style, he had everything going for him. But that Clash of the Champions, where they put him with Flair to go to that time limit draw, is everything, right? Like, that is the moment that you say, oh, we got a star. So, Flair did that for people, but Sting was able to keep that ball and run with it. And he stayed with the company, stayed faithful. He did what he had to do, and that's something you have to honor also. So, Sting is perfect for this. I don't have no qualms with it. And Flair is the right guy to induct him. It makes sense.
Right.
Every class is a headliner. They've already squeezed off like 2 DVDs out of Sting, and they're probably gonna squeeze out something else. Also, Sting probably will host something on the WWE Network sometime in the near future regarding WCW. So, like I said, I mean, this is just things we're talking about. We're talking about the Hall of Fame, right?
Well, I mean, I know that I don't have a problem with Sting. No one has a problem with Sting. I just think that why one of the reasons why that I think the main reason why that question was posed to me in the first place was because it happened so soon. I don't think that anyone thought that Sting would already be going into the Hall of Fame like right now. I think that it was thought to have happened like maybe a year from now or 2 years from now or something like that, but not like right now.
Edge went in the following year. Edge retired in 2011, WrestleMania 27. After that WrestleMania, he retires, which is cool. I can always say I saw Edge's last match, right?
Right.
Edge retires. Move on to the next year, he goes in. Shawn Michaels retired, and he goes in the next year. Like, he retired at WrestleMania 26. At WrestleMania 27, he goes into the Hall. It's not unprecedented. Flair went in that year while he was retiring.
Right.
Not necessarily unprecedented. And then, like, Sting is that level, right? Like, Sting is that upper tier of guys who, when we talk all-time greats, he's not the greatest all-time, but he's in, like, that all-time great tier. You know what I mean?
Right.
Where, like, he's somebody's favorite forever. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Personally, I didn't care when he went in. I just knew he was going to get inducted. I think, of course, we all know Sting is one of those wrestlers that you just know, like, it's going to happen. You know, there is no question about it. Like, he's always been one of the wrestlers that you just can look at and look at his career and everything that he's done and contributed and been like, yeah, he's going to be in the Hall of Fame. We just don't know when. Like, no one, I think, questions him being inducted because everybody understands, like, it was going to happen. Like, no matter when it was or how long it took, we just knew that it was going to happen. Period. Personally, I think that even if he didn't take this step into the WWE, he still would have been inducted. Like, at some point, it still would have happened. Because there is no way that you can mention wrestling and don't mention Sting. Like, that just doesn't happen. So, I am excited. I will be watching every second of the Hall of Fame on Saturday. I am going to be watching.
I was thinking about most interested people in best possible speech. Looking at the list, man, it's Michael Hayes, right?
Right.
Like, Michael Hayes is going to steal the show with his speech.
Of course.
I mean, that's the end of it. But now let's rewind. Let's go to Friday night. NXT Takeover, right?
Right.
I think this is going to be the biggest, baddest Takeover show to date.
Sorry.
I think there's going to be a lot of action. I think there's going to be a lot of movement, and the debuts are going to be amazing. So we're going to go down the card, and we're going to talk about people, because what we've gotten now is a new WWE, right? And I think NXT has ushered in this new WWE. I think it's been incredible shot in the arm to the roster. If you go down the roster, the most important people are people who have come out of this system now. Like, you know, we phased out most of the old OVW guys. The last of a dying breed is like Cena, Orton. You know what I mean?
Right.
These guys are the guys who are carrying the roster at this point. Your Cesaros, your Shield guys, the Wyatt family, who conspicuously is not booked for WrestleMania, but we will get to that on tomorrow's show.
Of course.
Well, let's talk. And they're opening the door to guys they usually wouldn't open the door for. Ex-TNA guys are getting shots in WWE. Never thought that would happen because they used to act like those guys were the plague at one point. But I think NXT has allowed them to give them a space and a home before they come to the roster. And also, hey man, these dudes can wrestle. But even though, hell, AJ Styles just went straight to Maine, he had to do a tour in Japan and make money in Japan, which I think is also part of another WWE initiative, but we will get to that later. Let's start this card top to bottom, Keish, because that's what people downloaded this show for. Austin Aries versus Baron Corbin. This is Austin Aries' debut in NXT.
That's correct.
I can't conceive Austin Aries losing his debut in NXT. I think Austin Aries is one of the best wrestlers in the world. I think his style is one that will work with various different sizes, and Corbin is going to showcase that.
Right.
Because Austin Aries worked with all different kinds of guys in different sizes. He's stronger than you think. He's got a nice build. I think he's quick. This guy has he's got charisma and mic skills to go. So I expect big things from him, and I think this is the perfect takeoff point. To have millions of eyes on you, everybody who's got the network is going to be watching.
Of course.
I'm sure they're going to rock like 15, 20,000 people wherever venue they're at. Like, I'm pretty sure they're doing the basketball arena in Dallas, right? Like, I'm sure they're doing American Airlines Arena. Matter of fact, I ain't even got to be sure. I just got to check. You know what I mean? Like, that's the funny thing. Oh, all I gotta do is check. No, they're doing the K. Bailey Hutchinson Convention Center, which holds 10,000.
Right.
Guess what? Bigger than anything TNA has ever done. And no, I'm not going to use this segment of shit on TNA, but I think that this is a good, launch pad for Austin Aries. And that's the one thing about Austin Aries is not only he's talented, he's not even overexposed. Like, one thing about these TNA guys, they got a lot of experience, and they're not overexposed.
Right.
Because only, a handful of people watch TNA every week, and they really don't do big numbers on the road or high pay-per-view buys. So it's possible you've never seen Austin Aries wrestle. Maybe you didn't watch early ROH, where he wrestled against guys like CM Punk and Daniel Bryan, and he had a hell of a feud with Seth Rollins at that time, Tyler Black, for the world title.
Right.
Which you should Google and watch some of those matches. But he has chemistry with one of your top guys, and most of the world ain't never seen it. So you get to bottle that up and use it again.
Exactly.
But I digress. I've taken Austin Aries in this match. Like I said, I think the kid's future is bright.
Oh, we both agree on that. I mean, Baron Corbin is tough. I mean, he got the size, he got the look, he's intimidating. We understand that. We see that week in and week out when we see Baron Corbin. But Austin Aries is great at what he does. And I know that he's going... I mean, you can't possibly lose your debut. It's possible, but
no, I mean,
why would it happen?
Well, because he can lose, and losing to a bigger guy like that, it'll create a certain modicum of sympathy, and then he come back and beat him at a later date, and you know what I mean, and that pushes his fighting spirit forward, kind of sort of say. But I don't call that. I'm more perceived that Aries probably wins his debut and moves on to bigger and better things, because I think he is one of those guys who will be a cornerstone of what's next on the roster, right?
Right.
Like, he is NXT going forward kind of thing, right? Because that's what we got to look at. What is NXT going to look like going forward? Because after these big shows like Takeover Dallas, where we're doing it after WrestleMania, we're going to alter the roster in some way, shape, or form. Austin Aries is probably going to be one of the cornerstones of the guys who are still there. Corbin might go main roster probably sooner than later, because he's been down there for a while. And I mean, at some point, it's kind of like Tyler Breeze. Not everybody wins the championship and goes up. Sometimes you got to have a Tyler Breeze where it's like, look, man, you got shit to get off the pot. Like, we got to find out what you can do. So, or Xavier Woods, another example. We got to find out what you can do. We're going to send you up there and see if you sink or swim, bro.
Right, exactly.
The Revival. Dash and Dawson. You know, one of my favorite tags. Like, this is going to be good. This right here has match of the night potential.
It does, Jesus. It does.
But there are 3 matches that have match of the night potential. This is one of them.
This is definitely one of them.
If you love tag team wrestling, I think these are 2 throwback tag teams that are really gonna have a good time. Dash and Dawson, to me, remind me of Arn and Tully. A lot of people say remind them of Ole and Arn, like one of Anderson's. Either way, they isolate a body part, they work it, they do things like very regimented tag team stuff. They get the ref in bad positions so they can cheat.
Right.
They do what you got to do to be a good heel tag team. American Alpha, hey man, they start off kind of as heels, but now they are stunting on them.
American Alpha has to be one of my favorite tag teams right now. Like, if not, it is my favorite tag team right now. American Alpha is so freaking amazing. Like, they are killing the tag team division at this point. I don't understand why, like, they haven't been the number 1 contenders already. Like, but I'm patient.
They have a division. and they have a build. This match can go either way. I could see Dash and Dawson winning but they win under scrupulous circumstances.
Right.
And can start a continuous feud with American Alpha. Like, there's no rush right now to move anybody right now.
Not at all.
Right? Tag teams. So it's not like we're going to transition Dash and Dawson to the main roster anytime soon. So these guys are going to feud for a little bit, regardless who wins to take these belts home. The momentum is with Jordan and Gable.
Yes.
I mean, these guys have been rising. They've been terrorizing people. Hey, man, that suplex that Gable did to one of our Villiers 2 weeks ago was
it hurt me. It hurt me by looking at it.
Hey, man. You know I love my amateur wrestlers, right? You know what I mean? They do their thing. As Cat Williams found out last week, you don't roll up on a wrestler.
Of course you had to bring that up. Hey, man.
Don't roll up on a wrestler.
Yeah, just
they found out. Check that boy Instagram. Found out he was a varsity wrestler. I told y'all when I was on Facebook. I didn't even know who the dude was. I said he ran up on a wrestler.
Exactly.
Right.
Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't ever do it.
But Jordan has all the charisma. Jordan, Gable right now is the front man, but I think Jordan is next level. Like when I see him, I think Shelton Benjamin physical potential.
Right.
That being said, I hope he doesn't get limited like Shelton Benjamin did in his peak.
Exactly.
But I see amazing potential in the young man. But if I'm making a pick, I'm going to go American Alpha. Just because. But I would be surprised if Revival kept those belts. And then they had a rematch at the next Takeover. And then American Alpha won. I
wouldn't either, but I'm going with American Alpha. I am. I think they will walk out of Dallas with the belts. And Keith, you don't know how excited I am about this match. Like, I am so amped to see this. I don't care who wins. At this point, like, I really don't care who wins. I just want this match to happen because I know it's going to be that good. Like, I have no doubt in my mind, and I will not be disappointed. I'm sorry. Like, no. I can't, even if it ends in, like, the dirtiest way possible. Like, I just know this is going to be an incredible match because these are four incredible men that can make it happen in the ring and not just, jumping from rope to rope, high flying. And, I don't mind that. It's great wrestling, but they just bring something more that we haven't seen in a long time. So I am so excited. I love Jordan and Gable. The Revival are awesome. Let me calm down. Got to bring myself back for a second. Got to do it. Okay.
All right. Yeah. Apollo Crews versus Elias Sampson. Apollo Crews, that's kind of inconsequential. I don't really think. I mean, I like Sampson, but it's Apollo Crews. Let the push continue.
Right.
This match, second match of the night candidate, Sami Zayn versus Shinsuke Nakamura.
Whew.
The King of Strong Style coming to NXT. Keish, I have a hard time containing myself. This is so beautiful. Y'all don't understand.
Now you feel how I feel right now. Like
the palpitations in the heart. But yeah, no. Here's the thing. Sami Zayn is about to have the biggest weekend of his life. He's booked on, you gotta remember, he's booked on NXT TakeOver and WrestleMania.
Correct.
I think he loses to Nakamura in the debut of Shinsuke Nakamura. I think the King of Strong Style gives it all he got. I think this match goes about 25 minutes. I think it's extremely entertaining, but I give the edge to Nakamura.
Right.
because I don't pick Nakamura to lose. And I think it's going down. So that's going to be that. Bayley will defend the women's title against Asuka.
This is going to be incredible women's wrestling. This is going to be incredible women's wrestling. Asuka is so skilled at what she does. Like, I am an Asuka fan. I'm sorry. Like, I gonna
kill you. Asuka's gonna kill you.
Like, it's crazy because Asuka puts fear in me. Like, watching her wrestle, it makes me scared. Like, it's like, oh my God, she's gonna kill the person in the ring.
Them kicks to the chest be brutal as shit.
Don't they? Keith, I swear to you, would take the breath out of me, and I'm not the one taking the kick. I can't.
Yeah, like, when she go to the head, I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
She kicked the shit out of her. Like, that's the only thing I be watching. I be like, oh, wow.
Remember when we talked about if we were wrestlers, like what we wouldn't do? Yeah. I'm not wrestling Asuka because I'm not taking those kicks. I'm sorry. Like, no. Never book me with her because I'm not taking those kicks. That kick to the head looks a little lethal. I'm sorry. I just won't do it. I can't.
Right. That's what I'm like, hey, where you at?
Right.
I'm in Gotham.
No, it's we laugh, but we're not the ones behind them kicks. Like, I'm not taking one of those kicks to the chest. I'm serious. If she would have kicked me in the head that way, I swear to you, I would lay out, and that's it. She might as well just pin me right then and there, because I'm not finishing this match. Like, I just won't do it. It'd be like, Keisha, that's not how it was supposed to go. That's how it went, because that kick hurt. Like, and I'm seeing stars, and it's black and white in here. Leave me alone.
I think it'll be a good match. Bayley has been an incredible run as a women's champion. But I think it's time for Bayley to go home to the main roster.
Yeah,
I think it's time for Bayley to join the other 4 horsewomen. I think it's time for Bayley to, bring them hugs to Raw and SmackDown. And I think that's just the beginning and the end of it.
Right.
I think it'll be a good match. I think they both will leave it all there. But Asuka's the future, and she's going, fend off those women competitors down there at NXT. She got Eva Marie, Nia Jax, and a few other people.
Right.
To deal with it, and she'll carry that belt, and for a little while before she comes up in a few months. But right now, this is Bayley's time, and I think she will drop the belt.
We love you, Bayley. We love you.
Speaking of dropping the belt, main event.
Funny. Don't do it.
Champ versus Samoa Joe.
Keith, did you watch NXT tonight? Did you see the fight they had at the end of NXT tonight? Was amazing. I mean, wow. All it said to me was this match, Finn Balor, Samoa Joe, you can't miss it, period. Not a second of it. It's going to be that good to me.
If the Bullet Club debuts Friday or not, or if they save that for after WrestleMania, which they probably will, I think Baylor probably drops the belt too, right?
Right.
I got all the titles, shake your hands. But yeah, I think Baylor drops the belt because I think it's time for him to go to the main roster. And he'll go to the main roster with the Bullet Club. And that'll be different. Because I think he wants to try his run as a heel. If you look at like his Instagram and all that, it's always with heels. Like it's always, me and my man Triple H with the belts.
Right.
Shout out to my man Sheamus, the Irish. You know what I mean? I think he was ready to be a heel on the main roster. And I think that's what the Bullet Club is going to facilitate for him. So I think he drops the belt to Joe. I think Joe has another interesting run in NXT as world champ. Eventually, Apollo Crews will be next on his table. And then he'll move on to some other things. I would be surprised Austin Aries or Nakamura both show up in that time frame. But yeah, I'm giving it to Joe. I think Joe is overdue. It's gonna be nice to see a guy who I felt was used completely wrong in TNA in his later part of his run, right?
Right.
Like 2005 Samoa Joe and 2006 Samoa Joe was amazing. But then they just forgot how to use him.
Yeah, they did. But now I think that it's his time again. Samoa Joe has never lost anything to me, you know? Not as far as his abilities go, his ring, his mic skills. Samoa Joe has always been a total package to me. It's just that people didn't know how to utilize this total package. I think now, more than ever, Joe gets this belt and he shows the world, you know, why he is Samoa Joe. And he hasn't been doing it already. Of course, he has lots of fans. He has lots of love. I don't care if he's a heel or a face. It doesn't matter. Everybody's still like, Joe! You know? So, I mean, he's just one of them people, like, it just really doesn't care what you do with him. Everybody's going to love him. He's definitely the next person to lead NXT as the NXT champion, heavyweight champion. I think, personally, it's time for Finn also to move on to the main roster. I understand, you know, why he started here, NXT, but it's just time. It's definitely time to go ahead and let it be and whatnot. Because I mean, he's just greatness. Both of them are. This is going to be an incredible match in itself. Of course, I know they're both going to give it their 100% and everything else to go with it. I wouldn't be surprised if the Bullet Club shows up even towards the end or whatever, you know, just to give that final bye. I would think it would be an exciting surprise, and I am all looking for it. So I'm with you on Joe taking the belt. I think it's time for the belt to change hands at this point anyway. It's going to be an interesting night, to say the least, for NXT TakeOver Dallas. Like, it's going to be a very interesting night, and I don't think anybody should miss it. Like, not a second of it. It's got an incredible card, incredible in matches. Like, I don't see why anybody wouldn't be excited about Friday night. Like, I'm excited. I can't. Like, there's no way that I'm missing this. No way. So, title matches are going to be like, there's like no words. There's no words right now. So,
yeah. I think we've got a wonderful card on our hands, and I cannot wait to see it. And hey, man, no complaints there. And with that, that is the NXT preview. Come back tomorrow for what we got going on as far as the WrestleMania preview. So with that, we are out.
Bye.
Peace.